posted online. Once we have published the video and the PDF copy of the presentation, we will send an email to institutions once it's available online. The webcast will be available on our SFAP webpage and will be located under our Stay Connected page in our webcast archives. My name is Giselle Martinez, and I am a program specialist over at Financial Aid Services. And I am happy to be joined by program specialist Ardelia Jones, who is also part of the team, who will be covering the second half of this presentation. As we go through the presentation, we will be answering questions in the chat box. Deshay Reed will be fielding questions, so feel free to drop them in as we go. We will be going over 2 topics today. Although we only have 2 topics to discuss, they are jam-packed with information. First, we will be covering all changes that we have published in the FY24 program guidelines. And for the second half of this presentation, Ardelia is going to go through an introduction to the new grant and aid processing platform, also known as GAP. And lastly, we will go over reminders and deadlines. We are going to start with the 23-24 guideline updates. We are going to briefly go over the annual updates. These are updates that usually happen across all program guidelines. As you may have noticed, the guidelines have been revamped to align closer to our new agency branding. The academic year has also been updated on the cover and throughout the guidelines. Deadline dates have also been updated. Deadlines like, but aren't limited to, the deadline to request funds and the deadline to transfer funds between programs. We have also updated the links to the program rules and statutes in the appendix. The rules and statutes that are online can change periodically, so we created an archive copy of what we base the guidelines from. These links will direct you to a PDF resource. If the rules change, you can refer to the appendix to see the rules that were used to create these guidelines. There have been additional overarching changes that have been made to the guidelines, such as the selective service section. Due to the selective service no longer being reported on the ICER, we have added a section to clarify that institutions can use a prior ICER to confirm registration status if it's on file. You may have noticed that the child support arrearage alert box is no longer where it used to be. That is because we have moved it under the additional information side panel on the same page. Another change that will happen moving forward is that we will be incorporating alert and stop boxes into the body of the guidelines if they have been repeated year after year. We want to ensure that when you see a stop or alert box that it contains new or important information. So for example, for our grant programs, the summer SAP requirements alert box is now its own section in the guidelines. That stop box has been there for years and is no longer new information that needs to be highlighted. Next, we will be moving on to our state grant updates. The usual updates have been made to the state grant programs. The priority EFC for Texas grant and TEOG has been updated, and the maximum awards for all grant programs have been updated. On August 3rd, we communicated with institutions the modification of the TEOG statutory changes alert box. There have been statutory changes to TEOG after House Bill 8 passed during the 88th legislative session. This bill removed existing text that restricts an institution from using Pell Grant funds to cover any difference in the amount of TEOG and the actual amount of tuition and required fees being charged at the institution. While this amendment is effective as of September 1st of this year, the change in law applies to TEOG awards starting from the fall 2024 semester. Another modification to program guidelines that we notified institutions on in the same memo that was sent out on August 3rd is the clarification on TEG's updated definition to exceptional need. The term was changed to provide institutions with greater flexibility in supporting economically disadvantaged students. Previously, exceptional need was defined as having an EFC or equal of having an EFC less than or equal to 1,000. Now, exceptional need is defined as the EFC less than or equal to 50% of the federal Pell Grant eligibility cap that aligns with the year the institution is packaging. So for FY 2024, institutions should refer to the maximum EFC that a student can have in order to be eligible for a Pell Grant award. This can be found on the Pell schedule chart that is published by the Department of Education each year. Next, we will be going over state loan updates, with the biggest change happening to the college access loan. Beginning with applications received by September 1st, the THECB will now calculate the final loan amount based on a student's manageable debt for the borrower's program of study. Depending on the calculation, the loan could be reduced or canceled by THECB after the loan has been certified by an institution. The CAL guidelines have been updated with a loan process section reflecting the calculation of a student's manageable debt. Due to this change, loans will no longer be able to be certified via Common Line after September 1st. All right, moving on to state work study updates. These have gone through a few changes to align with the Texas Administrative Code and the Education Code. The Texas College Work Study Program and the Work Study Student Mentorship Program guidelines and resources have been combined to better align with the Texas Administrative Code. The Work Study Student Mentorship Program is now referred to as the Mentorship Program. After consensus during negotiating rulemaking activities in May 2022 and approval by the Board of THECB in October 2022, rules were amended to alter the allocation methodology and disbursement process used for the work study programs. Now, what does this mean? That means that Texas College Work Study and Mentorship Program allocations are now one allocation and will be calculated for both years of the biennium. THECB will no longer disperse one lump sum of an institution's allocation. Institutions will be required to request funds as needed and will need to follow the timely distribution of funds as they request these funds. Institutions may still use funds for summer, although aspects of the allocation rule regarding reallocations and summer awards were removed as they are no longer relevant. All funds must be requested by August 1st and expended by August 31st of the current fiscal year. Although work study funds are now combined, institutions can still choose to participate in either the Texas College Work Study Program and the Mentorship Program. Institutions can choose to participate in both programs or in just one. If an institution chooses to participate in both programs, they are required to disperse a minimum of 25% of their allocation to students participating in the mentorship program. Institutions who choose to participate in only one work-study program can only use allocated funding for the program they chose to participate in. With these changes, there has been an update in mentorship reporting activities. The monthly financial report is no longer required. This means that the reconciliation between Texas College Work Study and the mentorship program will be done solely through the financial aid database report. We are still requiring the annual program summary report and the Title III exemption form. Next, we will briefly go over TASP updates. The annual maximum award for TASP has been increased from $10,000 to $15,000. We also added a section explaining the alternate nomination process for a Texas legislator. Next, we will briefly go over bilingual education updates. The eligible institutions were updated to reflect 5 new institutions added to the program. The definition of financial need was updated to align with the rules in the Texas Administrative Code. The State Board for Educator Certification Bilingual Target Language Proficiency Test was removed as an eligibility requirement to align with writer updates. Next, we will briefly go over educational aid exemption updates. The list of participating institutions for the program was updated, and the critical shortage list was updated to reflect TEA's 23-24 critical shortage areas. And with that, that concludes our program guideline updates. I will be passing this presentation over to Ardelia Jones, who will be going over our new grant and aid processing platform.
Thank you, Giselle. Good afternoon. I'm going to give you an introduction to the Grant and Aid Processing Platform, or the GAP portal. This will be replacing Grant Payment Portal. The new Grant and Aid Processing Platform is a modernized platform that will integrate a majority of our financial aid programs into one central location. The new platform will allow institutions to approve user access for GAP, upload documents, request payments, monitor program spending, submit authority to transfer requests, and send communication directly to the THECB staff. GAP will go live with the following programs: Texas Grant, TEOG, TEG, Educational Aid Exemption, Bilingual Education, and State Work Study programs. It is important to note that schools will not be able to request funds until the system goes live. Information will be provided later to institutions on how to log into the GAP system. User roles will be assigned by the institution. There are 5 different user roles within the GAP portal. I will go over each of them and their accesses. The primary point of contact will be granted to FA directors. This access will be granted by the THECB staff. They will have access to grant and remove access to users. They will be able to they'll be able to submit the other intent to participate. They can submit and approve transfer requests, return of funds, and update student count, as well as be able to submit and review help desk tickets. The secondary point of contact can only be granted access by the PPC. They will have access to grant and remove users. They will be able to submit the yearly intent to participate, and they can submit and approve transfer requests, return of funds, update student counts, as well as be able to submit and review help desk tickets. The reporting official will be assigned access by the PPC or SPC. They'll be able to submit transfer requests, return of funds, and update student count. They'll be able to access the institutional profile, allocations, and request tiles that are in the portal. They'll be able to submit and review help desk tickets. The business office contact access will be granted by the PPC or the SPC. They will handle disbursement activities. They will be able to access the institutional profile, allocations, and request tiles in the portal, and be able to submit and review help desk tickets. The institutional aid administrator access will be granted by the PPC or SPC. They'll be able to review institutional profile and allocation tiles only, and they'll be able to submit and review help desk tickets. Institutions have been accustomed to logging into CVPass to access the GPP. Now institutions will log into the GAP portal using users will have different login view accesses. When you log into the portal, you will see this landing page. I will briefly discuss the three tiles: institutional profile, allocations, and requests. I will also go over the functions you can find in each tile. I will cover intent to participate or opt-in, opt-out. Lastly, I will cover the help desk and how to submit a ticket. From the institutional tile, the first tab is the details tab. Here you will see the contact information of your institution. From this screen, you'll be able to see if your institution is on hold and the reasons they're on hold so that you can resolve the hold. The next tab is staff list. Here you'll find all the contacts for your institution as well as their roles. Previously, schools would submit a request through CVPass that would have to be approved on our side before getting access to the system. Now, the PPC or the SPC can grant user access. The third tab is financial aid program roster. This will list all of the grant programs that the institution is participating in for the fiscal year. Also, it lists the reporting official that handles that particular grant. The last tab under institutional profile is intent to participate requests. The opt-in, opt-out process is now considered intent to participate. We are doing away with the form and it is being built into the GAP portal. This section provides a history of institutions submitting intent to participate. Institutions will be sent notification when it's time to submit their intent to participate. From the details page, click on Select Program. You will see the list of annual and biennial programs to participate in. You will select the programs your institution intends to participate in and opt out of those programs your institution does not choose to participate in. After submitting the form, you will be able to download a copy of your intent to participate programs. Here is what the PDF would look like. The next tile is allocations. The allocations tile houses the financial aid roster. You will find your program allocations here. Selecting one of the programs, you will see the program's funding activities such as the allocation funding available, payments dispersed, returns, allocation transfers, and the number of students receiving funding from this program. The last tile is request. Here you will find a list of all your institution's requests. You can filter your institution's requests from the drop-down menu to see all submitted requests by type. To submit a new request, you will click the button on the top right to make a new request for payment, transfer request, return of funds, or update student count. For payment requests, institutions will no longer log into CBPass to access the grant payment portal. In the gap, you will first select program, then the payment amount, and the number of students. Before submitting payment requests, you must check the Acknowledge box. The TAC rule is available to review as it relates to payment requests. In the GAP system, there is now a built-in return of funds form. First, you would select the program and the appropriation year. You must include the reason, the dollar amount you're returning, as well as the number of students the return is for. You can save as a draft, or if you're ready to submit the request, you can submit it. Institutions will no longer have to use the authority to transfer requests to transfer unused funds into another program. Institutions would first select the From program and then select the To program. The transfer amounts and fiscal year would auto-populate. Enter the amount and submit. The institutions no longer need to complete a payment request to update student count. Now there's a section to update the student count. To update the student count, first you will select the program, the fiscal year, and the change type, either increase or decrease. The current total number of students will auto-populate. You will then input the number of students of the change and submit. Institutions will be able to receive assistance with program inquiries by submitting a help desk ticket. This will replace the use of crafts when you have specific questions regarding your institution's grant request. When creating a new ticket, you will need to complete all the required fields, including a description of the issue. You will be able to upload files related to your issue if you need to. After submitting the request, you will be taken to the view of submitted tickets. From here, you will be able to see the institution's submitted ticket history. By clicking on a ticket number, you'll be able to view your original question. You will see the answer to your question. Should you have additional questions regarding this ticket, you can add a new comment versus having to create a new ticket. This concludes the GAP introduction. Again, as a reminder, the THECB will contact the institution's financial aid directors with login instructions. Training will also be provided in using the GAP portal. Now we'll go over a few deadlines and reminders. We do have a couple of deadlines. The deadline to log in to your Helmet account before activation will be August 31st. The deadline for institutions to certify FY 2024 task applications is September 29th. A couple of reminders. Comptroller closer will be August 31st through September 1st. Financial aid database cycle 3, first day to submit file will be September 20th. And our recent notifications, state financial aid process update. Reminders and resource memo was sent out on August 21st. And as a reminder, our fall 2023 institutional calendar is available on our website. If you need to contact financial aid programs, you can call us on our institutional line. Students can contact us on our general phone line. Our hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're closed for lunch from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. You can also submit inquiries online through Contact Us. To make sure that inquiries are routed correctly, please complete the following steps. Select institution in the Receive From box. In the institution box, enter the school's full name. Always select financial aid questions as the contact reason. Describe your inquiry. Provide the best direct phone number to reach you should we have to contact you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our August webcast. We again would like to thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact us either by phone or by email. Once again, thank you for joining us. Have a great day.